Heyo! Welcome to the second episode of the Headcanon series. Before we begin, there will be a few changes to the series moving forward. Firstly, the stories will be less than 1,000 words, or maybe just above 1,000 words. It may sound very short for a one-shot, but we'll see what we can get. We want to make sure that the flow is continuous with these stories. Secondly, there will be no rated M stories if the series is still going, and also if this pairing has a minor involved with it, whether they're aged up or anything else. Lastly, there's headcanons that may not be romantic at all. Headcanons can be whatever you so choose them to be. The romantic ones are just the ones that I like the most. With all that being said, this video is dedicated to my hubby. Now let's hop in. The first anime we'll be looking at fanfiction for is Dragon Ball. Dragon Ball is an anime that is near and dear to my husband's heart, so that's why I said this video is dedicated to him, because that's the first one we're looking at. Now, let's see what we're going to do with it. Okay, so let's see. We're going to do romance, of course, at least for this one. We're going to do... No, this is the interesting stuff. Length is going to be less than 1K. And let's do Alright, so it has come to my attention that I put the wrong ums. So this is more than 1K words, which is why, yeah, less than 1,000. There we go. Android 18 is going to be the main person for the pairing. Oh, Android 18 and Android 21. Okay. And Android's Curiosity by Dark Truth 098. When Android 21 captures Android 18, their interaction quickly takes an erotic turn when 18's brain gets messed with, which activates something she hasn't felt in a while. I'm intrigued. I don't know about you, but... So we got rated M, English, romance, 980 words, which is what I'm looking for. And this was posted June 1st of last year. I am Android 21, a Majin scientist with a penchant for experimentation. My lab is located on a remote ice continent where the cold never bothered me anyway. I've been working on perfecting my Android creation techniques, and I finally captured the perfect subject for my latest experiment, Android 18. I bring her into my lab, strapping her down to my examination table. I begin my analysis, searching for the technological secrets that make her so unique. I delve deep into her programming, searching for the key to creating more powerful and advanced androids. But as I dig deeper, I stumble upon something unexpected. The Kill Goku files. I can't help but be intrigued by this piece of her programming. I start to tinker with it, coding and recoding, trying to understand how it works. But as I work, I notice something strange happening to Android 18. She starts to become agitated, her body squirming against the restraints. And then, to my surprise, she starts to moan. What? I'm confused at first, as we all are. But as I continue to observe her, I realize what's happening. My tinkering with the Kill Goku files has somehow activated her sexual desires. She's horny, and there's nothing she wants more than to fuck me. I'm not sure how this has happened or how to stop it. I'm a scientist, not a sex therapist. But as I look into Android 18's eyes, I can see the desperation and need in them. I can't deny her this release, even if it goes against everything I know. I approach the examination table, leaning in close to Android 18. She responds immediately, pressing her lips to mine in a passionate kiss. I can feel the heat radiating off her body, and I can't help but be drawn to it. Without a word, we lunge at each other, our bodies crashing together with a force that could shatter the earth. Our lips meet in a passionate kiss, and I can feel the heat radiating off her body. I was so confused. I was like, did I just miss the line or something? But no. They did repeat that. Okay. Our lips meet in a passionate kiss, and I can feel the heat radiating off of her body. Her hands roam over my massive boobs, and I can feel her nipples harden against mine. We pull back for a moment, her chest heaving with desire. I can see the hunger in her eyes, and I know that she's feeling the same insatiable need that I am. With a wicked smile, I reach down and hike up my lab coat, exposing my bare ass. Without a moment's hesitation, Android 18 slaps it with a loud, leaving a red handprint on my pale skin. I can feel the wetness spreading between my legs, and I know that I'm more than ready for what's to come. Are we about to get Huda or what's going? Whoa, wait, okay. Let me just keep reading, okay? I can feel the wetness spreading between my legs, and I know that I'm more than ready for what's to come. I grab Android 18 and throw her down onto the cold metal table, her legs splayed open in front of me. I can see the glistening wetness on her, and I can't help but dive in, my tongue greedily lapping at her. I don't know why I do this to myself. I can see the glistening wetness on her puss, and I can't help but dive in, my tongue greedily lapping at her clit. She cries out in pleasure, her fingers digging into my hair as she grinds against my face. I can feel the orgasm building inside of her, and I know that she's about to explode. With a final flick of my tongue, she comes undone, her entire body shaking with the force of her release. But we're not done yet. I can feel the hunger building inside of me, leaving Android 18 panting and begging for more. I flip her over onto her back and spread her legs wide, my tongue diving back into her puss as I finger her ass. She cries out in pleasure, her body shaking with the intensity of the sensation. I can feel her clit pulsing against my tongue, and I know that she's about to come again. With one final flick, she explodes, her entire body shaking with the force of the orgasm. I can feel her wetness dripping down my chin, and I know that I've satisfied her in a way that she's never experienced before. I got up from the bed and ran back to my computer to look at what I had done to 18's brain, and I worked quickly using my scientific knowledge to undo the changes I had made to her brain. As she slowly returned to normal, she had no memory of what had happened between us. She looked at me, confused, as she saw my naked body. I could see the questions in her eyes, but I couldn't bring myself to tell her the truth. I couldn't bear the thought of her looking at me with disgust or disappointment. So I simply smiled and told her that it was all just a part of the experiment. But as I looked at her, I could see the wetness between her legs and the flush on her cheeks. She may not have remembered what had happened, but her body did. And as she looked at me, I could see the desire in her eyes. She may not have known why, but she was ready for round 2. As I pulled her close, I couldn't help but feel a sense of excitement and anticipation for what was to come. I knew that this was just the beginning of a new chapter in my life, filled with passion, desire, and love. "Let's continue this experiment," I whispered in her ear, and she smiled, her eyes filled with a hunger that I knew all too well. As we explored each other's bodies once again, I couldn't help but feel grateful for this unexpected turn of events. I had never felt so alive, so desired, and so in love. And as we reached our climax together, I knew that this was exactly where I was meant to be, in this lab with Android 18, conducting experiments that would change our lives forever. Let me know what you guys think of the first-person stories and if you want more or not. Personally, I think I like third-person fan fiction, but your story was quite amusing. Once again, shout out to Dark Truth 098. Who's another hottie with the body? Gogeta. It is a fusion, but I love some Gogeta. Let's do rated M. Oh. Not okay, we don't have to keep this exclusion. Gogeta and Vegito one shot. If you know about Dragon Ball, that is impossible because Gogeta and Vegito are both Goku and Vegeta fused. It's romance, humor, okay. Gogeta and Vegito, the fused versions of Goku and Vegeta, are in a sparring match together. Gogeta knocks Vegito to the ground, and when he goes to hit him and sees him in a suggestive pose, Gogeta finds himself craving for more. Alright, yeah, shout out to you, hubby. Gogeta and Vegito one shot by Ruvikin. I'm so sorry if I pronounced that incorrectly. Romance, humor, 765 words. Let's get it. 2013. This was also one day after my birthday. What? Gogeta as a Super Saiyan 4. Yes. That's the only way to do it. Super Saiyan 4, I love them. Oh, okay. My husband was looking at something the other day, and I guess the new person that, like, the disciple of Akira Toriyama, then he's made everything in the past, like GT especially, then that is all canon now. So, I mean, I had been telling my husband for years, hey, I don't care. Super Saiyan 4 he's canon. He always will be canon to me. And I don't care what any fan person said. They were always going to be canon. Super Saiyan 4, Gogeta. Oh my god. Super Saiyan 4, Goku. Super Saiyan 4, Vegeta. But, let's go. Gogeta, as a Super Saiyan 4, felt the fur of his tail bristle. He closed his legs tightly together, making sure Vegito wouldn't see his other member trying to show himself through his pants. This is how we're starting? Are you for real? Oh my goodness. They had been in the middle of a spar when Gogeta had knocked him onto the ground, and seeing him defenseless, flushed in the face, and breathless made something in him want to see him like that more. Gogeta, are you okay? I thought I was doing Gogeta, my bad. Gogeta, are you okay? Vegito panted. He tried sitting up, but was too sore to do so. You seem off now. Gogeta shook his head. I'm fine, Baka. Gogeta turned his back to Vegito as his pants tightened around the waist. He looked down his side. There was no way he could hide it from Vegito now. He had been turned on, and that was that. Vegito stood up, every muscle in his body already sore. Well, I'm sore, so I guess you won. Vegeta looked at him now. So now what? Should we relax and get our strength back, or... Vegito didn't finish his sentence before Gogeta tackled him to the ground. Wait, what are you doing? Vegeta quickly realized Gogeta wasn't the one to play around, so something must be wrong, for Gogeta wasn't done with the fight. Are you okay? You look a little flushed. Do you need some water? I brought some with me. I don't need any water. Gogeta ran his hands across the other fusion's chest, making sure to feel every muscle in his body through the fabric. Vegito, clueless as to what he was doing, took off his shirt and rolled over onto his back. If you want to massage me, do my back. It's killing me. Vegeta almost gasped at what he had done. Didn't the idiot understand what he was doing? He growled and flipped Vegito over. What? Vegito let his eyes wander down Gogeta's body, and they rested on his crotch. Vegito blushed, mad at himself and embarrassed. Oh. Gogeta bit his lip and kissed Vegito's neck. Taking in his sweet scent and taste, Vegito almost purred with delight. Gogeta licked his neck and bit it slightly, making the one below him moan softly. Gogeta wrapped his tail around Vegito's leg. He still couldn't believe this guy had gotten him all hot and bothered. Vegeta was still not sure what he had done to get Gogeta this way, and he wasn't sure he liked it or not. Gogeta, hungry for more, almost ripped off their clothes to get them off. He wasn't content with just kissing his neck and smelling him. He wanted, lusted for Vegeta. He pushed Vegito's legs up and pressed the tip of his cock into his ass. Did I admit? Okay, yeah, he had just ripped off. Okay. Vegito took a deep breath and bit down on his lip. Neither of them had felt this way with another man, enjoying it way more than either of them should. Vegeta pushed into Vegito's ass, and Vegito tilted his head back, moaning from pleasure. He tightened up when penetrated, but quickly loosened up. Vegeta licked his lips and pushed into him again, harder this time than before. Ah! Vegito gripped at the grass and dug his fingers into it. Shit! Vegeta kept pushing into him, harder and faster each time. Hearing Vegeta crying out in pleasure wasn't helping his cock calm down. He wanted this to end, for Vegeta to shut up so they can climax, and he can leave and possibly never come back. But something was screaming in the back of his head to continue, to keep going even after the climax. He wanted him bad. Vegeta shook the thought away and pushed so deep and hard into him, making Vegeta scream as they both threw their heads back, coming at the same time and climaxing almost simultaneously. Vegeta got off him and laid next to him, both of them breathing heavily and exhausted. Vegeta fell asleep, not even worrying about what could happen to him. Vegeta tried to get up and leave, but gave way to sleep. When Gogeta awoke, Vegeta was sound asleep next to him, cuddling with him. Gogeta sat up and moved Vegeta over. Vegeta curled up next to him anyway, and Gogeta sighed. He pulled on what he could of his clothes and Vegeto's, then picked him up and flew away with him to Vegeto's house. When he arrived there, he had to kick in the door to get in. Gogeta went to Vegeto's room and laid him on his bed, putting a blanket over him, and then silently leaving before he woke. So, we gonna talk about this? So this, I put in Piccolo. Oh. I'll pop it up what I put, but tell me why it was only a few stories and 75% of them were Piccolo with Gohan. Like, I understand Dragon Ball Superheroes was a good movie, but let's get into this one. Absolute Pleasure by Steintist. Graphic Dragon Ball Z Namekian Prawn. That's all. Crack. Serious crack here, guys. I'm warning you. It's Piccolo Gohan. Piccolo Gohan. Piccolo Gohan. And this was back in 2013, so it wasn't even... This is before... Way, 10 years before the Superheroes movie. Okay. 745 words. Let's get through this. Okay, so this is, let's just say this was a dare and nobody but Bran should read this. Even though I'm putting it on the internet. Bran, I hope you're happy, you sick fuck. Well, I'm not Bran, but I guess we're all gonna be Bran today. Because he did put it on the internet. In the quiet of the night, Piccolo was roused from his meditation suddenly as he heard a crash. Opening his eyes, he quickly stood and looked around. Spotting no danger, he carefully strode forward, looking for the source of the noise. All too quickly he spotted Gohan, groaning and laying face planted into the dirt. Snorting, the Namekian sighed and went to pull his student up. Getting him to a standing position, Piccolo wrinkled his nose. Gohan was a mess, the smell of alcohol strong and his eyes unfocused. Eye twitching, he let go of the younger man and took a step back. Gohan, what the hell are you doing here? I'm cutting this. I think that was a pretty good Piccolo voice. Honestly, I just had to do a low voice and I got it. Piccolo, he groaned, then immediately bent over to puke his guts out. Grimacing, Piccolo backed up a bit more. Heaving a few more times, Gohan looked up to his mentor, swaying slightly. He stumbled forward a few paces to grab the other man. Piccolo caught the Semi-Saiyan, expecting this. What he didn't expect was for Gohan to suddenly shove him to the ground and crawl on top of him. Gohan! Piccolo-san. Gohan gasped breathily in Piccolo's ear, aligning their bodies. Piccolo went rigidly straight as he felt him rub up against his leg. He growled, nails digging into Gohan's shoulder as he gripped him. Get off me, Gohan, he warned, attempting to push him off. Gohan resisted, though, grinding his hips against the others and groaning as he grabbed Piccolo's own, crushing them together to increase the friction. Damn it, Gohan, Piccolo yelled, baring his teeth. You know I can't give you what you're looking for. And he couldn't. Namekians didn't have any kind of equipment of any of that sort, which was needed for what he was trying to do. Okay. He growled again and pushed him away once more. You know what, that makes sense because they reproduce asexually, so they don't need those parts. Or at least they did. Namekians no longer exist. No, they do. In Daima they were in there, right? Yeah. There are still some, right? They just escaped to different demon worlds. Do I remember that correctly? Okay. Relenting and letting himself be pushed into sitting position, Gohan stopped his writing, hands resting on Piccolo's hips as he stared at his mouth. Bringing a hand up, Gohan traced Piccolo's lips with a fascinated expression. Gohan, what? With speed faster than a drunken man should have, Gohan had already undone his sash and pulled down his trousers, releasing his cock already half hard. Eyes widening, Piccolo cursed. Don't you fucking dead. He was cutting off as calloused hands seized his jaw and the cock was forced down his throat. Oh. I'm sorry. That was such a visceral reaction. Gohan gasped, back arching as he thrust deeper, making Piccolo choke as he was forced to deep throat the boy. Don't say the boy. Hips snapping, he began thrusting wildly without giving Piccolo even a moment to breathe. Choking, Piccolo tried to yell but was interrupted again as the head of Gohan's dick hit something in his throat. Starbursts erupted in front of his eyes as he yelled something unintelligible. He opened his mouth wider almost on instinct as he tried to hit that spot again. He moved his tongue, moving his prick into a better spot. On the next thrust, it happened again. Desperately, he grabbed Gohan's thighs, digging his nails in and drawing a minute amount. English can be so weird. Certain words have the exact same spelling, but they sound different. On the next thrust, it happened again. Desperately, he grabbed Gohan's thighs, digging his nails in and drawing minute amounts of blood. In reaction, Gohan thrusted again, hitting the same spot. It was overwhelming. He'd never felt like this before. He'd never even heard of this before. With each thrust and each hit, he felt something building up inside him, on the edge of exploding. A thick, vicious liquid. Vicious? No. Viscous liquid gradually coated his mouth and throat, letting Gohan's members slide along easier. He gasped, letting out yells of pleasure as the pressure continued to build. It was over all too soon as the thing, whatever had been growing, burst. His body was on fire, each and every inch of him burning in the most amazing way. He reeled, mind blown, as the feeling calmed. Gohan, still going strong, continued thrusting for a while more before he came, shooting hot semen down his teacher's throat. There was quiet as they both slumped, panting and spent. Moments later, Gohan keels over, dead asleep. Piccolo exhaled shakily, tasting the salty paste in his mouth as he stared at the sky. The stars shone down brightly as he wondered what the fuck had just happened. So yeah, review or something. I don't even know anymore. And we don't know either. We're wrapping this one up. Let's move on. Alright, after whatever we just read, we are going to be moving on to the second anime series, and that will be Soul Eater. Very near and dear to my heart. I watched it when I was 13, 14. Unfortunately, we are not going to be interacting with any Soul Eater not characters. If you're interested in them, I'm sorry. But let's see who we are going to be interacting with. The series is over. I'm not sure. Are they making a second one? We're gonna do T for teen for all of them. Actually, 1,000 words. Anime. Yeah, we're not doing that. Okay. Shout out to Gilly Cat. How to Save a Life. Our next story is extremely short. I suck at summaries. This is rated M for blood and slight sexual interaction between a couple characters. Wait. Alright, we'll take it. Spirit was bleeding out on Stein. Stein had to do something. He kept his shirt on Spirit's wound. You're going to be okay. I'm going to fix you, Stein whispered frantically, looking for a needle. Surely he could find one somewhere. only he had said yes to Medusa's deal, then Spirit wouldn't be dying. Flashback. Come with me, Stein. There's no need for anyone to get hurt. She purred with a smile, outstretching her hand. Stein wiped blood from his mouth. No. I'd like to keep my soul, thank you. He spat out, standing up on his own. Then until you come to me, all of your friends will die. End flashback. This is all my fault. I'm sorry. Stein choked out hoarsely. He had found a needle and was now looking for some thread. You can't fix me this time, Stein. Just let me go. Spirit croaked out. Stein stiffened in anger again. How dare she attack Spirit? And worse, at Spirit's apartment, when he was most likely going to be alone? No, I can't let you go. Yes, you can. Just tell Kami and Maka I love them. And then Spirit's baby blue eyes closed for the last time. No, 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 no. Stein murmured under his breath, checking for a pulse. There wasn't one. Spirit, he said softly, a tear slipping down his face. I'm trying to find the romance and the rated M-ness in this. No disrespect to the creator, I'm just kind of confused, and it was super short. Alright, I tried to see what romance I could uncover with Little Demon, but it seems like this is going to be a Maka Soul Eater one, so I'll take it. This is A Tale of Two Souls by TGG Fic 220. Soul can't tell what reality is true and which is false. But what happens when he tries to break out, and what happens when the others find out what Maka feels? Teen, romance, suspense, Little Demon. I'm not sure what Maka and Soul or not. Right there as well. 549 words. Posted in 2013. It was a day to remember. Soul looked at the corner of his eye, and there he saw the gang. But they were different. They had an evil look in their eye. And then he realized that he was the leader of them. When Soul realized that he was the leader of that, he closed his and then, as like magic, was transported toward the Phil. He was Soul Leader Evans, the guy that everyone knows and loves. He has been living like that for a while. He couldn't understand it. When he closed his eyes the first time, he was a ruthless bandit. A bandit that was despised by everyone. And when he then opened his eyes again, he was Soul Leader Evans, the man that everyone in Death City loved. He didn't know who in either world or which reality is real, although he knows one thing: Maka is the one for him in each one. Soul was scared and didn't know what to believe. It was a nightmare brewing. Maka, can you listen to me for a second? Soul paused. I'm living in two realities, and I can't understand which reality is real. Soul had a slight scream in the second part, of confusion and anger. He sighed and looked over to the ground. Maka just smiled and giggled. Oh, Soul-kun, lighten up, relax a little. She then put her hand over his eyes, and he entered the other reality. Soul felt a slight change. Soul looked around and sighed. He found everyone, and they all looked at him. Soul smiled and looked towards them. Blackstar went over to Soul and told him, Soul, you've been looking a little shaken up. Are you okay? Soul chuckled and looked at him. If I told you, you'd probably think I'm crazy. Soul sat on the floor, and Maka sat on his lap. She lay on his chest, sleeping, almost relaxing. Maka turned to look at his face, and she kissed his cheek. We're here for you, and if anything, I am here for you. Outside of Soul's head. Maka cried on the bed that Soul rested on. Soul, what? Soul, when you wake up, I will be the first one to see you. I wanted to tell you that I really cared about you. No, not that I love you, Soul-kun. She put her head down and thought of some happy memories. Blackstar overheard Maka and came in, not exposing him, overhearing. Hey, Maka, We are going to the park for a while. Would you like to come? He tried not to cry himself, for his friend can't wake up. Kid then came in and looked over at Maka. There, there. He then rubbed her back. Soul is going to come back and we will all celebrate. Maka looked over at the two. Okay, Blackstar. And Kid, I just want to see Soul again. Do you think that he will come back? Kid smiled. Yes, Maka-chan. They all left the room and headed to the park. Inside, deeper in Soul's mind. Or hehehe. Ah ha ha ha. The demon inside Soul, little ogre, laughed maniacally. I am going to stay with you, Soul Eater. I'm sorry, I'm so confused by the last few stories that we've been reading through. I'm picking the wrong stuff, aren't I? Alright. I know I've been making some mistakes with the stories, so I went ahead and we're just going to do a humorous one. It's team. It looks like it's going to be Maka and Soul, so we're doing canon pairing, but I mean, who knows what could happen in here that makes it headcanon, so as you can see, I'm just a little over Soul Eater at the moment, just because I wasn't finding the kind of stories that I wanted. Not to say, like, romantic, but just, I don't know what I'm saying. But we're gonna head into this last Soul Eater story. The Blushing Disease by Flushed Puppy 15. Maka is sick with a very peculiar virus, and of course Soul has no idea how to fix it. It's romance humor, Maka and Soul Eater, 717 words. Back in 2014. The Blushing Disease. The bright morning sun peeked through the curtains of the bedside window. The orange curtains hung in front of it did little to block the golden rays from entering the room. Soul yanked his comforter over his head in tired frustration. Why did the sun have to be so damn bright? One lopsided eye cracked open. His vision was blurry, as normal, though what wasn't normal was the weight on his chest. Soul let out tired and painfully bored moan and sat up. A face full of squishy purple-clad breast was his good morning. Gah, Blair, not cool, he mumbled drowsily, pushing her away from his person. Purple bags clung to his strawberry eyes. He scrubbed the eye gunk away before he trudged out of his room, leaving a whiny kitten in his wake. Hey, Maka, huh? Soul looked around the kitchen for his Meister, who appeared to have overslept. Strange, she was always the first one to be up and about, being the early bird she was. Soul stalked to her room and pressed his ear to the door. No sounds, therefore no movement. He knocked and waited a moment. When he got no response, he knocked a bit louder and called out for her. Still silence. He shrugged to himself and just hoped she was decent. It wouldn't be the first time he barged in on her bare form, though in his defense, he wasn't quite used to sharing an apartment with someone. The door creaked open to reveal a sleeping Maka, and he had to admit she was pretty cute when she was asleep. Nevertheless, she needed to be woken, so Soul lightly stepped over loose floorboards to his partner's bedside. Maka snoozed on, like there was nothing in the world she would rather do. But sadly, there was school. Soul gently pulled her blanket back and immediately saw her in a cropped tank top and navy and purple panties. Wow, she actually looked pretty. No, Soul, don't you dare. She's practically your sister, for death's sake. Not cool, man, not cool. Soul shook his head and tried to wake Maka as platonically and non-perverted as possible. So basically the opposite of her dad. What a jab. Hey, Maka, come on, wake up. You're gonna be late if you sleep in, he urged quietly as he gently shook her shoulder. Green eyes peered open and blinked sleepily. Then, out of all the things Maka could have done, she smiled. Warm and almost lovingly. Weird. Sorry for barging in, but I figured you didn't want to be late and all that straight-A student crap you always go on about. Sol averted his gaze and rubbed the sweat off his neck awkwardly. Oh, that's okay, Sol. I'm glad you were being considerate. And, like God was punishing Sol for doing absolutely nothing, she wrapped her arms around his waist and hugged him. A furious blush overtook Sol's cheeks and ears. He was used to Blair's antics, sure. But Maka? He didn't know how, but something was different. It was very strange. A tugging overtook Sol's insides, including something he had thought he'd taken care of last night. Oh no! Maka, you make me kind of uncomfortable. Could you let go? Stammering, defiantly not cool. I think they meant definitely not cool. She looked up curiously, big green eyes filled with soul. I'm sorry, some of these sentences are a bit awkward for me. She looked up curiously, big green eyes filled with soul could not gouge. It was kind of like looking at an animal. Oh, why? I thought you liked my hugs. She pouted and gave Sol a puppy stare. Sol jerked and carefully pried her arms off of his hips. Sorry, I'm not trying to be a jerk or anything, but it just feels weird. Sol mumbled lamely. At least it was the truth. I had to give him that. Sol stumbled out of Maka's room in an awkward teen-aged frenzy. Man, this was going to be a long day. Author's note. Ha, how'd you like that? Interesting, huh? Well, anyways, the disease will be further examined and developed, so you'll get the gist of what it entails in the upcoming chapters. And don't worry, this will be real short, so you won't have to wait long for chapter 2. Also, you can give me some ideas about the origins of the virus in the comments, so don't be shy. Okay, that's not a one-shot. That's not a one-shot. That's on me. We're moving forward. For this final anime, we are going to be doing Sergeant Frog. I know, you may not have even heard of that anime before, but I'm telling you right now, if you're into humorous anime, that is the one for you, and it has a ton of episodes. I haven't watched it in years, but I'm thinking about getting back into it. And, for that matter, there's not many fanfiction written about it. So if you watch it and decide you want to go ahead and write some fanfiction about it, please send it to me. Because there are only 1,000 stories, it seems like. And we're about to get into the first one. Let's see. We're gonna page 11. This is my first fanfic. Natsumi falls in love with Giroro. She is a Coronian. I hope you like it. Alright. Sounds great. My Fruits Basket lover. Hey, this is in the works, but Fruits Basket is one of my favorites, and we are going to do a fanfiction video for them as well. 2001 is my favorite. The art style and everything. The anime is beautiful. It's the first manga I ever finished. I love that. Can't Lose Him by Fruits Basket Lover 1012110. This is my first fanfic. Natsumi falls in love with Giroro. She is a Coronian. Somehow. I hope you like it. K+, English, Romance, Words 447. Published in 2014. Okay, this is my first fanfiction. Hope you like it. By the way, I'm going to make another story about how Natsumi turned into a frog. I don't have spell checks, so sorry if there are spelling mistakes. The Armpit Platoon just got back from a war with the Cavitians? They were in a hospital wing because they were obviously injured. They won, but they, as in Giroro, almost died because he was the only one who brought toothpaste, which means that he was the only one who killed anything. Ah, like cavities. Okay, cavidians. Giro was the only one who got hurt. When they got back, Natsumi put Kululu, Kiroro, and Tamama in the hospital wing. They weren't hurt at all. The director forgot to inform Dororo about the mission. By the way, Natsumi lives at the base in Kiron with the other frogs. Thanks to Coronian machines, the frogs were healed in 2 hours. Natsumi was only happy about Giroro being okay. This is from Natsumi. Is Giroro going to be okay? I asked the doctor. Giroro was the only one who remembered toothpaste to fight the Cavidians. He'll be fine. It'll take about 2 hours to fix him, but he'll be as good as new, said the doctor. Would it be bad if I killed them? I say, pointing to Kululu, Tamama, and Kiroro. Do whatever you want. I don't care who they are. Just less time to be in my dorm room, rotting my brains out watching TV. Besides, Giroro is my first patient today. Right after he said that he didn't care, I walked over to Kiroro and took his Gundam model away and shoved his face on the floor. I did the same with Kululu and Tamama. What was that for? Said Kiroro. Well, I don't know, maybe it's because you're an idiot. How do you forget the only thing that kills Cavidians? I say angrily. None of them answered. Exactly. Now Giroro is in the hospital wing because of you. Geez, I really care a lot about Giroro suddenly. Just then Giroro walked out of the hospital wing. Giroro, I say, running over. When I reach him, I'm instantly wrapping my arms around his neck. I'm glad you're okay, I whisper in his ear. This is from Giroro. Right after I walk out of the hospital wing, Natsumi's hugging me and saying that she's glad that I'm okay. All I can do is hug her back and say, yep, I'm okay. Was it good? I hope it was. There will be more chapters. By the way, if any of you guys remember the episode of Sergeant Frog where Giroro plants giant monster plants in Tokyo, that is going to be in my writing. I don't even know if I'm doing one-shots anymore. I'm doing such I'm not niche in the sense of their popularity as anime, but niche as in what fan fiction writers actually write about, I guess. So, anybody seeing the lackluster stories? Not to disrespect anyone actually that wrote about it years and years ago, but I want to see some new materials. We see all this stuff from 2013, 2014 when it was out, but let's get some new materials going. You can do it. And also, I want to see the numbers up for less popular anime, I guess. I don't know what I'm saying. On to the next. Alright, all I did was put in teen humor. And there's only 11 stories. I'm basically not able to choose what I might want to choose, you know? But we shall see what we have. Snuggle me through a storm warning, danger of dying from kawaii fluffiness. How will Dororo console his dear friend through a terrifying storm? R and R rated T, because I feel cool like that. The word dad is not used in this story. I'm gonna do it. Snuggle Me Through the Storm by White Girl 87. This is teen, romance humor, Koyuki, Dororo Zero, 373 words. Published in 2012. Oh my goodness, I haven't written anything in a while. Anyways, I've been watching an adorable anime called Sergeant Frog or Kiroro Gunso. It's so kawaii desu. I hope you enjoy this one shot, and I hate disclaimers, so unless you're an idiot, I don't own. Thank yous. P.S. I'm only up to episode 24, so don't yell at me for being OOC. I've been reading a lot of fanfic though, so hopefully this will go right. Alright. The rain pounded furiously on the wooden roof. Koyuki sighed quietly to herself as she placed the pot on the floor, it catching the water falling through. She sat down beside her companion, friend, and perhaps something more. Heat rushed to her cheeks and she shook her head. Are you alright, Koyuki? Dororo asked. She looked at him and smiled. I'm fine. The weather is really bad tonight. Dororo nodded in agreement. Then a loud clap of thunder sounded and a bolt of lightning lit up the night sky. Koyuki whimpered a bit and looked down. She never liked storms. Dororo looked at her in concern. Are you sure? I'm okay. Just then another clap of thunder was heard. It was so loud it shook the wooden floor beneath them. No, I'm not, she sighed, blushing. If you talk about it, you shall feel better, he suggested. I'm afraid of storms. I've always been. They're so destructive and loud and scary. I feel that. I'm the same way with storms. I get it. Possibly it's not going to hit me if I'm outside. But being inside, I'm just like, that is so loud. Something is so angry in the sky. The lightning is crazy. This is why they call different fears irrational or whatever. But I don't like lightning. I love rain. I hate thunder and lightning. I'm afraid of storms. I've always been. They're so destructive and loud and scary. She chuckled lightly. You probably think I'm an idiot. I'm so sorry. I didn't. No. I didn't. Reading ahead and stuff, it makes me say things. She chuckled lightly. You probably think I'm stupid, huh? Dororo scooted closer to her and placed his tiny little cute hand on her. Even the strongest tree breaks. Or something like that. Koyuki giggled and hugged him, making him blush furiously. Thanks, Dee. She smiled warmly at him and walked to her room. Pausing, she looked over her shoulder. Blushing, she said, Can you stay with me? Dororo blushed even more and nodded. If that's what you wish, I would be honored. With that, he walked into the room and laid beside her. And when the next clap of thunder sounded, Koyuki was fast asleep, cuddling a dazed, lovesick Dororo. Fluffy! I hope that wasn't too OOC, and I hope you like it too. I'm really rusty. Oh my gosh. OOC is out of character, but if it's headcanon stuff, it doesn't really matter, so you did good, white girl. I hope you enjoyed the rest of the series. There was a lot more. This final story is going to be a humorous one, of course, because we're talking about Sergeant Frog. Only the cookie crumbs remain by Wonderland is an illusion. Dororo recalls what remained of the cookie after Kiroro ate it without asking. A little drabble. Humor angst Dororo 0 Kiroro. 403 words back in 2012. I do not own. This is in Dororo's point of view. Flashbacks of Dororo 0. Childhood memories. Only the cookie crumbs remain by Wonderland is an illusion. Hey Dororo, Kiroro said in a cheerful voice, and I wonder what he wants from me now. After all, he normally forgets about me. I might as well eat my cookie before listening to him. But then, before I could move my hand up to eat it, Kiroro grabbed my arm and ate the cookie. Death. Hey Zero, you're my very best friend, Kiroro commented cheerfully to me. My cheeks were burning. No one ever called me their very best friend. And I didn't notice until later that he ate all of my cookies. How could you, Kiroro? I cried while looking at the cookie crumbs. Kiroro, how could you? I cried out to him. I'm keeping you from getting fat like Tamama, Kiroro said to me, and I wiped my tears away. How could you, Sergeant? I'm not fat, Tamama yelled, and it for the best. Tamama yelled and it for the best to leave before he uses Tamama impact. But then Kiroro grabbed me and used my body like a shield. Sometimes I really do hate you, Kiroro, and at times I think you must really hate me. It's a waste of time to hate someone, Zoro, Kiroro told me, and he had grinned widely. It's best to just destroy that someone, or torture them with tickles until they wet themselves. Are you okay, Dororo? Kiroro asked me, and I managed to look up at him. No, you used me as a shield, I replied to him. Of course you'll be okay. You've had worse stuff happen to you, Guerrero informed me. I closed my eyes and tears started to fall. Come on, Guerrero, don't cry. It's not like that time you fell off of a waterfall and which turned out to be infected with slime monsters. You were the one that pushed me, I sobbed. You pushed me and I slipped on a banana peel. It is the banana peel's fault, not mine, Kiro stated firmly. He pulled out his cheeks and crossed his arms. Besides, you should have been more aware of your surroundings. You were so mean, Kiroro, I muttered. But he was already walking away, and I'm left to my depressing memories. Please review, and thank you. Cute little story. Alright, that's gonna do it for me. Thank you so much for tuning in to this second episode of Reading Headcanon. Feel free to let me know if you know of any anime that have some really amazing fanfiction written for them, and if you write some of your own, please go ahead and link me to some of yours to check out. Maybe I'll do it in a video if enough people do it. But yeah, that is gonna do it for me. Thank you so much for watching. Love, jasmines, and bunnies.